So last time we talked about just being more decisive when you with your engages, and then also is that all we talked about? I actually don't remember. And also not panicking with blinking. So let's see how that goes. All right, this is super risky. In general, you don't have to chase up behind them, right? Like, a big problem with chasing is A, you're usually pretty visible, right? And they can spam you, and just generally you want to like come from unexpected angles. And then also another big problem is that it ends up putting you behind the play a lot of the time. Because if they just speed and run in like this, like to point or around the wherever the side or the side of the map, etc., right? Like, in what world do you actually catch up with them and do meaningful damage with all your blink, right? So it's more important to like just like keep hovering on the edge of the map, right? So if they go up, right, you can sort of like walk around here, right, where they can't see you, right, and you're still behind them, right? Or like walk into here, right, where you can come up underneath them, right, and they're less likely to watch this, right? Although be careful about like walking up these stairs without checking what's going on directly above you, right? Or you can just sit underneath and like camp the drop, right? And when someone drops, right, you hit them from behind, right? There's a lot of stuff you can do, but the point is don't chase them, right? Because chasing is a very easy way to fall behind the play, and also it's a easy way to get spammed as well. So this is good, right? But don't take 100 damage beforehand. Right, so somebody fell, right? So this is when your time to shine, right? Somebody fell, so you can go mess with them now. All right, you're a little lost. Oh, he got rolled. Yeah, he just looks very lost in that fight. As in, like, you spent a lot of time, like, just not doing anything, right? So you look, right? So Tracer's magazine is like 1 second long, I guess, in terms of how many shots you can output. And then it's 1 second reload, right? But if you watch how many. So let's see. Okay, let's see how long this clip is first. All right, so we started at 320. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you spent 4 clips in 14 seconds, right? And a pretty messy looking fight initially, right? And in that case, right, like that means that what was that 4 out of like or 8 out of like 14 seconds was spent actually like fighting, right? Um, and like you can actually manipulate that to like spend time, like for example when you're reloading you can like blink around a corner and hide somewhere, right? And that's like ways to like spend like reloading time productively. But you had 8 seconds of forced like either shooting or reloading, right? That out of like a total of 14, right? And like just in general you should be trying to shoot more, right? I'm not expecting like 14 out of 14 because it's better to like take the time to acquire a target first before like just unloading, right? Because if you just shoot without like spending time like on your spacing or like thinking about who you're actually supposed to be shooting, right? That's problematic. But like you spend a lot of time not shooting there, right? And be careful with that. Alright, I went too far back, I think. Or not too far back, but we do want to watch this all again. Yeah, this is fine, but again, when you're hiding, right, don't give away where you are by getting antsy, right? Just wait here and listen and make sure like, and you can maybe look through this corner as well and see if like a McCree is like looking at you. He's like looking for you because that'll tell you if they saw you, right? If they didn't see you, right, you're fine, right? But don't like give it away by standing here and then like a McCree walks around the corner and like out reactions you or something and flashes you, right? You don't let that happen. They don't even have McCree. I don't know why I'm saying all that, but like you get the idea. Like now you're hiding, right? But like there should be comms already on where the enemy team is, so you can walk out at that point. Like again, do you see how chasing them? First of all, makes you eat damage like very consistently, and then second, right, puts you behind the play, right? So if you're going to chase, right, just wait. If you want to hit them in this room, right, wait until they're actually in the room, right, and like try and cross safer instead of walking at them. Like blink over here, right, to LOS better, right, and then consider walking up, right. Oh, that's a Rhine. Reset the... I like this. You backed up towards main, which I'm not a huge fan of, but as soon as like you realize you're main, right, you went back around. This is something that like we need to do a lot more of, and this is really good. Just in general, if you need to back up them, I look for you backed up in this way in general. So that way when they walked out, they had to walk into a crossfire, and you don't have to spend time like resetting the off angle. But it's good that you're always thinking about flanking. That's not you. Yeah, but you see how like your impact, because you're always chasing the play instead of just like backing up on the off angle and having them walk, like try to walk through you, right? Is like you're always just kind of behind the play, and that means you're not doing a lot. So like your ult's lagging behind everyone except Tito's right now, right? And as Tracer, right? Oh, careful with that. Especially when you see the beat, right? You're no longer concerned with working him down as fast as you can. Your main job is like doing safe poke without dying, right? So without taking damage, right? Because if you take damage, that forces your cooldowns. So you spent 2 blinks to get to him and then recalled, right? For like about like 200 damage, right? And that's not worth. Oh, he gets stunned too. Right? You don't have recall, but like it looks like you get healed up. Careful, you know there's an Ana behind you. Ah, that pulse bomb sucks. Oh, those mines suck as well. Yeah, but like you know there's a guy behind you, right? That maybe made you panic, but you know that your team's also winning. Your team just trans, and there's only 2 people left on point, right? Just like shoot them, right? You don't have to pulse bomb. Pulse bomb is for like to open fights, or to swing fights, swing chaotic fights, right? But like it's not really good at the end of fights for like unless like it'll literally win the fight by itself. There's a very common mentality in Tracers to pulse bomb on cooldown because it charges fast and because they want to practice it. But that's a really important habit to not have in scrims. It's okay for ranked when you're just learning, because like throw as many pulse bombs as you can just to practice sticking it, right? But for scrims, like the goal is like improving like cohesion and all like the macro stuff needs to be as good as possible, right? So that's when you need to be like more disciplined with your pulse bomb because the timing is much more important, right? Interesting nade. Alright, so you told them you were here by blinking across, so don't expect to get a free jump from here. I mean, they'll probably give you it anyways, but don't expect to be surprised, for them to be surprised you're here, right? So this is fine, right? Just don't expect them to be surprised. Like, don't like try and sneak in behind them or something. Alright, they're ulting early, using high ground. I really like this. Alright, tracking could use work. If possible, right? Once you get that kill, right? Try and blink back onto the high ground, right? So if you look how you had a quick second there where you actually could have blinked and saved your high ground. So you're shooting, this is great. You're using high ground, you shoot. You want to finish the kill, right? Right here, you can still blink and maintain high ground, right? But you blinked over here instead, and then almost made you eat a hammer swing, right? And you've almost eaten a hammer swing a lot today, or in this scrim. So when you're fighting Zarya, and you know she doesn't have any teammates or anything, right? Like, just spend all your blinks to avoid taking damage. Because if you just let her track her like this, there's actually a good chance she kills you. Because all she needs to beam you for at high energy is about like half a second, then she throws a right click and you actually just die. So don't make it easy for her, right? Like you had the blinks to just blink around her a bunch of times. Alright, so we're sitting up on the right side this time. Again, this is a problem Gabe has as well, but don't make noise if you're hiding somewhere. Gabe just spams hello all the time. And then they know where he is. And spamming the melee makes noise as well, so be careful with that. Walking around also makes noise, but it's not as loud. Jumping also makes noise. Alright, they're not watching. I like this patience. I think I talked about this after the scrim as well. Hey, easy clap. Ah! This full swamps. Right. Oh, this would have been the perfect pulse bonus assault. It didn't matter. He ate so many mines. Alright. Let's speed through this. Alright, hurry up. Oh, there we go. Careful spending too many blinks getting out of spawn. because then you don't have blinks to cross when you want to. Right? So be careful with that. That's not you. Alright, you're into the map. Nice. You have blinks, they're not pushing you. You can just cross in safety. You don't even need to blink. Nice. Alright, you're in a relatively safe position. Alright. Don't need damage, don't need damage, don't need damage. Alright, you're chilling. So this is taking too long. You guys have been set up for a while now. So this is what I mean when I say that our setup is too slow compared to our action, right? So look how long Dan has been here, and look how long you've been ready, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's when you guys actually go for your play, right? You've been fully, both of you have been fully set up for like 7 seconds, right? You've been partially, like more or less set up as well for like probably double that, right? And this is what's so important. Like once we're partially set up, right? The setup needs to be like immediate, right? So like partially set up, right? And then you call as soon as you're ready, like you blink over here and like I'm ready, Dan, let's go, right? And then Dan goes, and then you just you rush it, right? But the problem is like you spend too long waiting, like enemy team eventually can mess with you, right? And we talked about how in second, right? Like I guess it'll come up later. But like they just find where you are if you spend too long in the setup spot, right? And they just push you out, right? So don't be too patient, right? Imagine if like the Junkrat just like jumped up to you and then conked you, kicked you out, forced you to recall, right? And then you can't go aggressive anymore. It's so much harder, right? So again, like once you're set up, go, right? Don't wait. And this is not entirely on you. This is also on Dan. Like you and Dan need to talk to each other and figure this out. But it's really important that when you're both ready, you just both go, right? Probably didn't have to give up your high ground there. You can just chill here and then get free shots on potentially the Mercer or whoever, right? Like high ground just gives you options to engage, right? Like you're trying to figure out who to shoot here is actually kind of hard. Don't force this. Yeah. I don't know if that blink forward plus recall is necessary, but it was alright. Oh. Almost got her. You panic so much whenever you get into a fight. The panic! Now you have no cooldowns for this fight. I mean, I guess you have 2 blinks still. I mean, you're keeping them busy, but like, yeah, you're really struggling with this fight. You don't need to add bag for orb here. Just go get. I guess it's hack. I don't know if you knew that. If you remembered from earlier, like, okay, you're smarter tracer than me now. But be careful, like just sitting here like begging for pack, right? Because if you can just grab the mega, just go take it. Obviously, it was gone, but.
Defense point. Objective B.
Alright, so your number one... Please stop making sounds. Sprays also make a lot of noise. So your number one priority right now that your Zen is dead, is to not be scouted where you are. Like, let them not know where you are, and that way, your setup time isn't wasted, right? But if they find you and they kick you out, you have to reset up, right? And that's always painful. So just wait. Don't be seen, right? So like as soon as you get here and you realize that like someone dies, like don't move. Just sit here, hide in a corner, and hope that they don't find you, right? But if you start moving, people can see you, right? And they'll start reacting. Right, Jan's also doing this. Like he's invited the Junkrat to look at him, and now he has to reset up to like go somewhere else, or just like hope that like they turn and become stupid, right? Or find another way in, right? Maybe drop and like grapple on here and like go up that way, right? But it's really hard for you to get in now because like your access path is also cut off, so you have to like blink over here now, or like blink across them, or blink over here. There's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of ways around it, but again, it just makes everything harder if they know where you are, and have a lot of time to think about what to do about it. Alright, so our team is here, I think. Never mind. I really underestimated Zen's move speed. Ah, that's a trap! Yeah, again, don't force it the same way as your ball is, right? If they're already looking at your ball, you don't want to die by accident, right? You don't want to die because they looked at your ball and try to shoot him, and then you happen to get in the way, right? You want to come from another side, right? And that involves like blinking across the enemy team and coming over here, or just like double blinking across over to the high ground, right? That's fine, right? But whatever it takes, don't go the same way as your ball, right? Especially if they're already looking at him. If like it's a surprise attack by the ball, like it's a little bit different, but... Alright, again, be careful. You just spent like 4 blinks moving, or maybe 3. And now you're going in with no blink and no recall against a Junkrat in a narrow hallway, right? Through the same path you took earlier. And this causes you and Dan to like disjoint very heavily. And you're not able to follow him. And you're still just risking dying the whole time, right? It's good that you came from a different way from Dan though, but that's mostly because Dan actually rotated, not you. Let's go fighter. Sombra in general like loses to Tracers in 1v1s. And forcing out is a big deal. Like you kind of like that's a mega that you actually don't want her to hack. So the fact that like you gave up ground in front of her when you're actually winning the fight, and then she got the hack off is a pretty big deal. Because like that pack is actually so important for your team. Again, you're pushing in the same direction. I know he's not looking, but that's it. Ooh. Oh. I thought he saw the trap and he blinked over it. I was like, wow, some heck. Okay, whenever you get a moment when they're not looking at you, right? Play it patiently, right? She's not looking at you. Wait for the moment, like wait for her movement to like steady out for a second. Line up, get closer if you need to, right? Get to here before you unload, right? But you make your life harder by panicking and shooting, right? And now you did half damage, right? As opposed to just actually one clipping her, because you were pretty close to it if you like just lined up a couple more shots. Oh god. What a disaster. On the hacked mini, no less. Yeah, so because you A went too early, when like you had like a potentially free like clip lined up, and also like some poor execution after that when like you started panicking, that you gave her essentially like she should be dead, and instead like their team gets 2 kills, right? That's something that you want, like probably shouldn't allow to happen. Again, you see how much time you spent not shooting? Like you just kind of paused there and looked at them. And again, play high grounds, right? Once you unload that clip, either go around, right, or just blink over here, and like try and shoot the guy from above, right, or shoot the guys in the back, right. The Ryan can only block one direction at a time. This is really powerful, just blinking across. But you don't want to be in the middle of it where you can just die to things by accident, right? Like, yes, your character is okay in the middle of things, but you don't want to be there. Goodbye. Okay, we're approaching from the same direction, right? For like the 3rd or 4th time in a row. And then again, right? Like this guy just always has a trap here, right? Like it's so hard to get over this or to get through this. Like it's so hard for you to do anything. Yeah, like he just locks this path down and you walked into it like 4 times, right? It just makes it so hard. Like how many times have you actually died in this area, right? You died like once here, once here. I think you got slept here as well, so you died here. So like you've died at least 3 times in just this area alone because this path was blocked off and you still went here anyways. Alright, attempt number 5. Alright, never mind, we're waiting. Again, stop making noise! Ah, it's killing me! I think they can see you if they were looking. Like, do you see how you just take damage by accident? It sucks so much. Like, if you're gonna die, at least don't let it be an accident, you know? At least make the enemy make a play on you. I like this immediate movement to the right though. I would probably just like blink this way and try to get into their spawn, but if you're not sure, like that's fine as well. Just in general, like if you like again, this is a moment where you regrouped because you were feeling unconfident. But you should know that like there shouldn't be anyone here yet, because you know where everyone is in front of you, right? And you also know that they're just respawning, right? So if you blink back here, this is a pretty safe mini to grab if you need it. And then you can go walk upstairs to go take high ground as your team's like fixing their backline problem, and then re-engage together at the same time, right? But this is going to force you to have to take like a much more aggressive angle, like use way more blinks to like get yourself into the fight because you're attacking from the front again. Like, obviously, it's a very risky like play. It requires a lot of understanding like what's going on around you, which can be very hard in Tracer because there's so much stuff happening around you. Um, but like that's what you want to aspire, right? Because your macro movement's actually not bad. You just need to like push it to the next level.
30
Ooh, I
seconds.
thought those were their mines for a second.
Step rider.
Ooh! It's a good pulse bomb. Oh, you got high ground. Oh, he gave you high ground and you left it. Someone else ate the trap for you. We're trying to focus Mercy here, not the Doom. Yeah, so yes, the Doom is threatening and he can kill people, right? But if you don't kill the Mercy, no one on the enemy team, like your team doesn't have a lot of damage anymore because a lot of people have died. So you have to kill the healing first before you go for anyone else. Because especially if they're doable, right? Like if they're invincible, right? I don't know, like a Lucio like camping out up here or something, right? Like if that's a different story, right? But if it's a Mercy on point, that's your absolutely be the number one focus, especially if you see the beam tied to anyone else, right? Because you're looking at the Doom, right? Shooting the Doom, and you're like, wait a second, there's a beam attached. The beam's over here. Go find the beam, right? Go find the source. Because the Mercy is the most important person here. Your damage doesn't stick against like healing that's comparable to your damage unless you kill the healing, right? So gotta kill the healing first. Like this damage on these guys kind of doesn't matter. Ana's a good target to go for as well for the same reason. But you see, you spent like a good chunk of your clips on like non-Ana. You spent like a fair number of clips already on tanks. But you see how like you shoot like the Ana, eventually the Ana dies even when you miss half the shots and put them in tanks instead. And then you go in the junk and the junk immediately dies too, right? Like squishies, go for squishies, right? And then go for healers first over squishies, over other squishies, right? If you have the ability to. All right. So overall, most important things for you. I think in general your macro like movement has gotten a lot better. You're always looking to flank now, which is really good. In general though, if you have the ability to back up in a way that's not in the direction of your team, that's really valuable. And it's something you want to always be thinking about. It's not always possible, and sometimes if you do it, like it's a high risk play, it'll get you killed sometimes. But it's something you always want to aim for at the least, and see if it's possible. Um, what else? Pulse bomb usage could use some practice as well as tracking after you blink. I know it can be very disorienting, especially when you go in with multiple blinks. But just in general, like your aim after your first blink was always a little rough, and that's something that will help a lot. And also be patient if you get the jump on someone, right? So you were very patient that morning. You got an easy one clip, right? But you weren't patient as soon as you got to as soon as you saw the Ana not looking at you. You were very impatient, right? And it meant that you dropped the one clip, right? So just be patient whenever you have the ability to. Just get as close as you can, unload everything, right? And then like go for the one clip, right? I think those are all the biggest points. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you get to this part of the video, DM me what 8 times 7 equals.